call on recording, plus I'm going to share the screen and we're going to study continuation with the Neolithic period. Okay? So we begin. Last time we did, pay attention. Whatever we are doing is the call recording, is your explanation only. So if you disturb, all these stupid things will also get recorded and then you have to go through all this. Okay, so we begin with Neolithic tools. Last time we did invention of wheel, where we learnt about the potter's wheel, then the applicability of the wheel for spindle whorls, where cloth could be woven, charkha that is. Then the potter's wheel was for refining the pottery, and the most important use of the that means things could be carried easily from one place to another in no time. Anunay, Jayan, please leave the group right now. Either you switch off your mic or do not disturb the class like this. Anunya. Okay. So coming to the Neolithic tools, we now read tools of the Neolithic period included agricultural implements like sickle, digging sticks, hoes, and ground tools like the mortar and pestles. Now they are talking of the Neolithic tools, the tools which were used at that time. And basically they were for the use and implementation for refined works like sickle, जिसे कहते हैं हसिया in Hindi, okay? Then digging sticks. There were sharp sticks attached with a wooden handle, and they were used for digging the soil. Then you had hoes and ground tools. That means all the agricultural tools were basically used. Other than that, the mortar and pestles. You must have seen Oakley or the uh, mortar and pestle in which you grind your ginger. Mama must be using it in the kitchen, the smaller version of it. So that is mortar and pestle that you talk in English. Now, what kind of tools they were? Polished stone tools like fine cutting edges with fine cutting edges were used for grinding grains and other products. Some tools were made of bones too. So now the tools were not just of stone, but they were also at times using bones, as the animals' remains, their bones were could be used as tools, and they were basically done for grinding the grains. They were polished tools. That means the tools had been refined. They were not the raw. The edges were made sharp. Can you see the edges here of these tools? Can you see these edges? These are sharp and they have been refined by man. The second daughter, the stone axes found from Bellary district, Karnataka, and Santhal Parganas, Jharkhand also belong to this period. Now, this places might be different in the new version of the book, no problem. So, whatever places are given, you can go accordingly. Coming to the next further, can you see this chart above? They are telling you about few Neolithic sites. Even this could be different in the new version of the revised edition. So no problem. You just have to read it. So they have given you various Neolithic sites and where their locations are. Like supposing in Uttar Pradesh we have, not very clear, Mehagara in Uttar Pradesh. Now what is it? What are found here? The marks of cattle hooves have been found here. So in this way, they have told you about the Neolithic sites, where they are located, and what are the remains that were found. And then the remains of grains which were found. That means the agriculture, whatever they grew, that was available and was left as remains, was later on found by the historians. So these are the few things you have to go through this chart. Nothing important, nothing much in that. Now coming to life of the people, that is tribes. Now, early man moved in groups to protect himself from wild animals. His group consisted of men, women, children, and domestic animals. and his settlements were called villages. The people living in these villages formed a tribe. Every member of the tribe shared and divided the work. They also got time to take part in singing, dancing, and other recreational activities. Here they are telling you that earlier the man was moving in a living a nomadic life and was moving in a herd in search of food, water, and shelter. But gradually, once he learned the art of agriculture, he lived a settled life. He occupied the area which was near to a water body so that he could grow crops and that water could be used for drinking and for irrigation. That is why most of the sites which we see are near the river basins. That means area just next to the river. So we were talking of the life. Now they lived a settled life. And they started not just living in families, but in group of families. Now these families grew in number and gradually they turned into tribe. Tribe means unka pura kunba. Kunba is the word that is the people of the same clan living together. So that led to a village life. That means two, three, four, five families clustered together, occupied a particular area, and later on it was known as villages. Now these people, early people, did not call it village. It is we, the historians, who termed it as village, and now we know it as that they lived in settlements called villages. Now here they shared the work. Now they no longer had to waste time on hunting, so they had ample time. They were uh, secured for their food, so they had time for other recreational activities like singing and dancing. Then tribes are formed by families living together in small settlements for three generations. That means two, three generations. Grandfather, father, and the son. These are the three generations. So in these two, three generations, when families lived together and clustered in among with each other, that was known as tribe. Then the men of the tribe looked after hunting, gathering, herding, and fishing. So the work done by the men was to hunt, gather food, and do herding and fishing. That means looking after the cattle, moving the cattle for pasture, and fishing. The women did most of the agricultural work. They prepared food, looked after the plants, and harvested grains. Both men and women looked after the animals. They cleaned and milked them. Now the work was divided. The women were doing most of the agricultural work and also the preparation of food, etc., the plantation, the harvesting of grains, etc., looking after the children, and then the domestic animals were looked after by both men as well as women. Archaeological evidence. Now, what are the archaeological sources that we know? The first Neolithic site to be discovered in India was Burzahom in Kashmir. I hope you have the same name of the site. If it is, it's okay. If it is not, please write this name. So, the first Neolithic site which was discovered in India was Burzahom in Kashmir. It's a place in Kashmir. Unlike our present day homes, which are above the ground level, these houses were below the ground. The people dug pits into the ground with the help of stone tools. The pits were narrow at the top and wide at the base. Some of the deeper pits had a few steps leading down. Living in these pits was the only way to keep themselves safe and warm from wild animals and cold. But how do we know if these men actually lived in these pits? So now comes a new term. They, instead of having huts, they also had pit houses. Now, what is a pit? Pit is a gadha. In Hindi, we call it a gadha. So, like a rabbit lives in a burrow, the pit resembled more or less like a burrow. So, they had a small little opening with a narrow passage and then a big, huge area dug deep inside the earth. That means not the above the soil, they were living below the ground also. And these pits were used to keep them safe from wild animals and to keep them warm. That means in winters most probably they lived in these pit houses. And now they are asking how do we know that they were living here? So how do we know? Because the ash, charcoal, and pieces of pottery have been found in them. In these pit houses, ashes have been found. That means राख मिली है, charcoal and pieces of pottery. That means कोयला मिला है और pieces of pottery. That means the tools which, sorry, the utensils that they used were also found in the pit houses. And that is why we know that these early people also lived underground at times, especially during the winters. Some of the pits had ovens, that is chulhas, made of stone on which people cooked their food. A stone used for grinding corn was also found in one of them. So now they are telling you the things that were found. The chulha. I don't know if you are aware, but in villages it is still it's an oven, a clay, a mud product which is called chulha in Hindi. So that was made for cooking the food, and with the discovery of fire they used to cook food, so it is obvious, and even that is found in the pit houses. Many other sites have been discovered in Kashmir. They are Begagund, Olchi Bagh and Pampur, Pansgaum and Braha. So these are the few names which you just need to read. Then they talk of Neolithic burials. Before we begin this, let me tell you, burials are where the dead bodies are buried. Now, the burials were usually carried out under house floors or in compounds. So many a times the dead body was buried inside the house floor, and otherwise there was an open ground where this burial used to take place. The bodies of the dead men were smeared with red ochre. Now they used to cover this the dead body with a red colored coating. You must have seen the recently we color our pots with this color. गेरुए रंग से रंगते हैं हम लोग गमले को अपने. That is that. With that kind of a texture, they used to smear the red bodies. That means they used to cover them up with that red ochre. Then early man believed in life after death. Many items were placed along with the body. Animals were sometimes buried along with humans and sometimes alone. They included dogs, cattle, buffaloes, goats, and sheep. Now they are telling you that early man did not know what death was. So what they did was, once they found their kin to be dead, they buried that person along with the things which he thought that he will need, his body will need. Though a dead body doesn't need anything, but then they were not knowing the concept, so they used to keep the things of that person who was dead along with him. And other than that, many animals have also been found to be buried. Most of them were the animals which were domesticated. Now, oh, it's hazy. In Burza home shows a hunting scene. It depicts, just a second, have I missed something? Neolithic painting, sorry. Neolithic painting. Now here they are talking of the work they did. People of this age painted on caves, walls, rocks and slabs of a stone. A slab of a stone found in Burza home shows a hunting scene. Please see this scene. They were not very accurate painters, but they just used to just carve out images of the various scenes which they saw in their daily life. And one among them was the hunting scene. And a picture of it has been found in the caves of Burzahum, which is in Kashmir. They didn't had any canvas, they didn't had any pen or pencil, so they used to draw it through sticks or stones only. They used to carve it on rocks, pillars, and cave walls, etc. It depicts two hunters hunting a deer. One hunter holds a spear, the other a bow and arrow. You can see a spear one hunter is holding, and the other is using a bow and an arrow to kill this wild beast. Now, Chalcolithic age. Now, this is something which is new to you. Now, this is the period in between, that is the Mesolithic period and the Neolithic period. Mesolithic is the middle stone age and Neolithic is the new stone age. Now between these two periods was this Chalcolithic period. Now the period between 4500 BC to 3500 BC is referred to as the Chalcolithic age. The word is derived from Greek word kalkos, that is copper, and lithos means stone. Chalcolithic is also known as the Copper Age period. Underline the name Copper Age. Now, Chalcolithic is a Greek word. Calculus means copper. That means the first metal they discovered and they thought that it could be used was copper. And they started making copper tools also along with the stone tools. Chalcolithic is also, during the Chalcolithic period, man used tools and vessels made of copper and stone. Copper tools were stronger than stone, and man could cut down crops and trees faster. Other objects found in copper were bangles, beads, earrings, fingerings, fish hooks, etc. So apart from these, the tools which they made out of copper were the bangles, not just tools, but the things that they made were copper bangles, then beads, that means the necklaces, earrings, fingerings, and even the fish hooks to trap the fish. Now here are the two case studies, one of Mehergarh and the other of Northeast. You are supposed to read them and see if it is just for your knowledge. Okay, it's just for your knowledge. So with this we come to an end of the chapter. We stop here. And I put an end to the screen sharing. And I stop this video now.